An $8 million tiara. A mother who refused to return it to her own daughter for 50 years. A daughter who never dared demand what was rightfully hers. One piece of jewelry, and their relationship was shattered forever. But what could have driven the Queen Mother to keep from the heir what belonged to her by right? Why did the young queen utter a phrase that went down in history but changed nothing? And most importantly, why did this jewel lie forgotten in storage for 35 years before becoming the apple of discord? What lies behind this story turns out to be far more heartbreaking than simple greed. It all started with one woman. But to understand the truth, we need to go back to the beginning. The story began over 150 years ago in the Victorian era, when a piece of jewelry appeared that would change the fates of several generations of the royal family. Picture this: 17 Mughal-style arches set with 2,600 diamonds. At the center of each arch, lotus flowers bloom, and between them, precious stones shimmer with mesmerizing brilliance. This is the Oriental Circlet, an $8 million tiara, the most expensive piece in the royal collection. Let's break this down step by step. Then something interesting happened. The idea for creating this beauty came not from the Queen, but from her husband, Prince Albert. In 1853, he approached the London jeweller Gerard with an unusual commission. The cost was just £860 sterling, a laughable sum by today's standards for such a masterpiece. Prince Albert initially decorated the tiara with opals, his favorite stones. He saw special magic in them, a unique radiance. But this was only the beginning of the jewel's journey. Along with the tiara, Queen Victoria commissioned an entire set: an opal necklace, earrings, and a brooch. She often posed for portraits wearing this ensemble, showcasing her beloved husband's gift. Records from that time show the Queen adored her new treasure. She wore it to the most solemn occasions, pairing the tiara with the matching earrings and brooch. Each element complemented the others, creating a unified statement of luxury and power. But that's not all. 5 years after the tiara's creation, a scandal rocked the royal court. In 1858, Queen Victoria's cousin, the King of Hanover, successfully claimed part of the royal jewels. Imagine the shock when a family member simply took what belonged to the crown. Queen Victoria had to act decisively. She broke up several old pieces and had to purchase new diamonds to replace the stones that had been removed from the Oriental diadema. The jewel lost some of its original splendor, but Victoria wasn't about to accept that. The next owner changed the jewel's destiny. After Prince Albert passed away, Queen Victoria sank into prolonged widowhood. She no longer wore the tiara, too many memories. The piece lay in storage for years, waiting for its moment. But the Queen understood its value. The most important part was yet to come. Before she left this world in 1901, Queen Victoria declared the Oriental Circlet a crown heirloom. She wrote, "Future queens should wear it by right." This was her final gift to the generations to come. And now, the truth. The following year, Victoria's daughter-in-law, Queen Alexandra, did what many would consider sacrilege. She believed opals were unlucky stones, a common superstition at the time. And she made a radical decision. Alexandra replaced all the opals with rubies. Where did these rubies come from? From various Indian jewels gifted to Queen Victoria and King Edward VII by Indian princes. But Queen Alexandra went further. She reduced the number of Mughal arches from 17 to 11, completely transforming the tiara's design. Parts of the jewel became removable, able to be swapped for large, single diamonds when a lighter, simpler tiara was needed. Documents reveal an unexpected twist. This simplified version was never worn publicly. No one ever saw it that way. And here a new character enters our story. Despite all the changes, the tiara somehow never became a favorite of either Queen Alexandra or her daughter-in-law, Queen Mary. The jewel was forgotten once again. From 1902 to 1937, 35 years, the tiara didn't appear in public. Queen Alexandra may have worn it during a state visit to Denmark from Germany in 1903, but this remains unconfirmed. The real turning point came later. In 1937, King George VI ascended the throne. His wife, the new Queen Elizabeth, had relatively modest tiaras. She received Queen Mary's fringe tiara, but it wasn't enough. Most prominent royal jewels still belonged to Queen Mary and were part of her personal collection. What actually happened? The Oriental circlet was retrieved from storage. After decades of neglect, it saw daylight again, and it turned out to be the perfect grand tiara for a queen empress. Photographs captured an important moment. Queen Elizabeth first wore the tiara at a debutante presentation at Buckingham Palace in May 1937. This was just days before the king's coronation. After the ceremony, the royal couple stepped onto the palace balcony to wave to the crowds, and the Queen wore precisely this tiara. A decade later, the situation changed. Or rather, even sooner. The Oriental circlet traveled on a state visit to France in 1938. It was worn during a tour of Canada in 1939. The tiara appeared at gala performances, state openings of Parliament, official portraits. Queen Elizabeth fell in love with this jewel. She wore it during state visits, royal tours, film premieres. The tiara became her signature, a symbol of her reign beside the king. Then the war ended, and the tiara returned. It became one of the first diadems worn after World War II. When the royal family waved to crowds from the Buckingham Palace balcony on victory over Japan Day, Queen Elizabeth wore the Oriental circlet. The jewel survived the war, just as the monarchy did. And now we reach the heart of the matter. In 1952, the king passed away, and his daughter ascended the throne. The young queen should have received all crown heirlooms, including the Oriental circlet. But this didn't happen. The Queen Mother, widow of King George VI, kept the tiara for herself. She continued wearing the Oriental circlet and the crown ruby parure to numerous events. The coronation gala at Covent Garden in 1953, she wore the tiara. A visit to New York in 1954, the tiara again. The London University Ball. State visits from Belgium, Italy, Japan, Sweden. Each time, the Oriental circlet gleamed on her head. So what's the real story? The young queen lost not only her father, but also access to jewels that rightfully belonged to her. She was deprived of the ruby tiara and had to commission the Burmese ruby tiara to replace the piece her mother wore. But the queen never directly asked for the Oriental circlet or other jewels. Her famous phrase went down in history: "Mummy will return them." She believed her mother would do the right thing. Or perhaps she simply didn't want conflict. The key moment came later. The Queen Mother continued wearing the tiara to the most important events. The Queen's Silver Jubilee Gala in 1977, a gala for her 80th birthday in 1980, a state visit from the Netherlands in 1982, everywhere she appeared in the Oriental circlet. Despite the tiara's large size, the Queen Mother wore it until her final days. It was one of her two favorite pieces, the other being the Greville tiara. She wore both tiaras right up until 2002. Let's look at the facts. Only after the Queen Mother left this world in 2002 did the Oriental circlet finally pass to the Queen's ownership. 50 years had passed since her accession to the throne, half a century of waiting. And what did the Queen do with the jewel she'd waited for so long? She wore it once, just once in all that time. This happened at a banquet in Malta in 2006. The tiara hasn't appeared in public since. Why? The piece wasn't the current Queen's style. Too massive, too bold, too many memories. The Queen prefers other tiaras from her extensive collection. the Oriental circlet was left in the shadows once again. But the story doesn't end there. Experts believe that one day the Oriental circlet will look magnificent on the Duchess of Cornwall. Perhaps she'll be the one to restore the tiara's former glory. Perhaps under her, the jewel will emerge from the shadows again and take its rightful place among the royal regalia. $8 million, over a century and a half of history, 7 owners, countless transformations, and it's all about one tiara. From a romantic gift from a prince to a forgotten treasure in storage, from triumphant return to new obscurity. The Oriental circlet survived scandals, wars, changing eras and generations. And its story isn't finished yet. Now you know the whole story. No greed, only love for one jewel, and the delicacy of a daughter who didn't want to hurt her mother after losing her father. The Queen Mother simply couldn't part with the tiara that symbolized her happy years, and the young Queen showed nobility, waiting half a century. Isn't that more remarkable than any scandal? If this story amazed you, leave a like. Hit the red subscribe button and activate the notification bell so you won't miss new secrets of royal treasures. Even more captivating stories await you. Thank you for being with me. Until we meet again.